Hi guys, Ronda without an H here with you. Okay, so we are cooking up something a little bit different. I'm working on a kitchen recipe slash journal. I don't know what you call it, but with the kitchen theme. Bringing in some of the retro, but I'm not limiting myself to just retro, just whatever kind of tickles my fancy. I hope you guys are doing great. I had a great time camping. We learned a few things about camping in a trailer versus tent camping. And I've got these, as you can see, I've got these adorable little clusters that I've made up that are kitchen related. She's drinking some cocoa, or I don't know, maybe it's coffee, but since it came from me, it's hot chocolate, of course. And anyway, these are just super simple. I know you've seen tons of videos out there, and I've done some things before myself, but these are going to be specifically to go in my journal that I'm working on, and I've already started it, but I thought it would be fun to bring you along and to let you help me create another journal. I haven't done a kitchen themed or recipe in a really quite a long time. So I've got some of these done. Let me just kind of show you what I've done so far. And remember, I have a video on this yummy piano paper. And I have that in my Etsy store. But I created an envelope with some of that. And the image, instead of flowers or whatever, I've put some images relating to kitchen, food, eating, that kind of thing. And most of my images, I've taken free images off Pinterest. As some I've had, and some from magazines that I've, cut up, and cooking books and recipe books and that kind of thing that I've just been cutting up. But I thought this was just really fun. Here's the folded over. You can see this is just a nice little card, and I've just made it kind of a fun, instead of doing it the normal way we do, I thought that this kind of gave it a fun little change. And then I added a paper clip to one of my little clusters, and it's great. That'll fit wonderfully in the envelope here. So at some point I'll have to make sure I have a pocket that can tuck that. Let me show you a couple of other things. I'm also doing the iCAD 2020, which is index card a day, arting or whatever. And I thought I'd take advantage and do some of my cards to go in my kitchen, my recipe journal. And so these are just old recipes that I got. These are all pages from it that I got at a garage sale. I found a little booklet and have coffee dyed the pages, and I just, it was just a bonus to have one or two pink recipes in there. I love this. It's all hand typed. So I've been using that. So there's that card, and I've got another I've got another iCAD card that I've done. These are the 3x5 inch cards that we use for recipes or whatever, card files. And I've just collaged some different if I could speak, if I could even think of what I'm speaking of. Different pages of recipe books, different ephemera from some of my recipes. Duh, hello. And I went ahead and I stitched this little cluster. It was one of these, and I stitched this onto the card. Doesn't that look cute? These are adorable. And we'll make a few of these together, just so that you can get the hang of it. And you probably already know, and just work along with me or just chat with me. This is something else that I did. I had these little pages. See the holes in there? I did not have a little notebook, a binder, you know, the little tiny binders that have the rings in them that you put these in. But these are fabulous pages, and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I came up with my own way of kind of hinging them together. And then I just put a couple of partial recipes on there. So you've got all this amazing writing paper. Wonderful journal. I don't know how many pages are in here. I'm not going to count them, but there's a lot. So there's that. And then I went ahead with some other images, and I have stitched and used washi tape and created another, this is brown paper here, so I've backed this recipes with brown paper. And this is coffee dyed paper that I got in the mail, and I have just included just a little bit of just random papers, recipes paper. So this can be used for whatever, just fun. I didn't want to embellish it. I wanted to keep it so that, you know, whoever gets this journal, they can do their own embellishing and, you know, make it for what they want to use it for. Now, let me get all of this stuff out of the way, and I will show you the journal that I have started working on. Okay. Now, oh gosh, it's probably been 2, maybe even 3 years ago, I created, and I had not seen anyone do this on YouTube when I started making these, but I took lunch sacks and started splitting them apart and creating pages for journals. And this is a different one, different themed, but it's kind of the same basic what I've done in the past. And I haven't done one for a long time because, quite frankly, they take forever. not literally, but a really, really long time to finish them. And then I feel guilty, you know, charging a lot of money for a journal, but I can't afford to just give it away. And so anyway, it's just kind of crazy stuff. But so we have a little glassine pocket, and I have stamped on some little aprons. We have a teeny little bit of note writing for notes. We've got some images. We've got fabric here. This is a recipe page behind. And this, of course, is the back. I am stitching them together. This is good because it shows you what I'm doing here. I'm stitching them with strips of muslin, well, cotton. This is just a fun, and I love it, and I thought, oh, this will work great for this. So my pages are all going to be kind of floppy this way. I'll stitch in here to put them together, but that gives it so much strength by doing it that way. And as you can see, here's the here's the front of this one, and then there's nothing and nothing. But then what I do is I take another 2 pages, and this I didn't because I had the papers the same. And so, but normally I start with this as my base and then I build on this. So I'll do 4 pages, and then when the 4 pages are done, I will stitch around 3 sides like this, and then I will stitch down the middle. And that will secure these 4 pages together, and it will also create a pocket. Now it looks like they're really flimsy. Love the crinkle, guys. Sorry, can't help myself. I must crinkle. But when you get added fabrics and papers and laces and layers, then they sturdy up, and they're really, really nice. Okay, so there's that. And of course, I still have to work on this one. And this is one that I have finished. I've made a pocket with a pretty image from a recipe book. I've got lace, 2 layers of lace. This is handkerchief lace. And I don't know what I did here, but that stitching's coming out. So I'll have to fix that before I sew this together here. And I've created just some fun little cards to go in. This is recipes from those old hand-typed ones that I showed you. And here's just a nice little journaling card. And see, I've stitched this little cluster on. Very cute. It doesn't have to be really elaborate to be really, really fun. And then here we've got this wonderful image of some desserts and pies. And I don't know about you, but my pies don't look like that. And then we've got journaling on the back there. So that's that one. And then move that out of the way. And I do have one that is finished, the 4-page spread. So we have, as you can see, we've got recipe cards. So we've got paper, and we started with the base with this, 1 sheet of that. And we've got a handkerchief on top of that. And then we've got a recipe card on top of that. And we've got fabric on top of that over here. And we've got lace on top. And then we've got music paper on top of that. And then we've got rickrack, lace, more fabric. Here's some buttons stitched down. Some fun images. I love this. I'm having so much fun. And then turn the page. And we have journaling here. This is just fabric that's fun. It reminds me of kind of the 50s, 60s, you know, with the retro images and more lace and rickrack. And then here we have more images. We've got lace. We've got little journaling spot here. Did I glue that down? I did on that. And paper on top of fabric on top of paper on top of fabric. This has the handkerchief over here too. And then here on the back we have a pocket that I've created with the recipe and music paper and lace. More images, lace, trim from edging from handkerchiefs. And then we've made a little booklet out of some of our images and recipe papers and just paper. And I just think, yay. I think it's great. Okay, so that's what I've done so far. so I will continue on. I'm going to come back, and today I think we'll just work on these sweet little clusters. And then in my next video, we will start working on some of the pages, and yeah. And I appreciate your help. I appreciate your support. I've missed you guys. I haven't done a video for over a week now, and it's just like, what are my friends doing? What are they up to? So, okay, I'm going to shut the video off right now so I can gather some stuff, and then we will get to work. All right, don't go away. Okay, I have gathered some things so that I can start on the clusters. And just to let you know, I like to stitch my clusters together, but I know a lot of you don't own a sewing machine or don't like to sew, and they can be glued. Absolutely, you can glue them. And for this part, I'm going to use my art glitter glue just to show you, you know, it's fine to glue them. And I have this in my Etsy shop if you're interested. 1.5 inch squares that are kitchen related, fruit, you know, just different sundry images that you can use if that interests you. And I've gone ahead and I have already cut out my little squares so that I can just go ahead and create. So you can use a few different things for this. I am choosing to use some of my very cool, I love it, this is my dotted Swiss that's very vintage, and I will just cut this in kind of randomness. And these, and actually this was good if it's not like perfect, which I know some of you are like, what are you doing, Rhonda? Where's your rotary cutter? Well, my rotary cutter's right here. Okay. So what I do is I'll get little piles of things. So I've got my images here. I've got a pile of fabric, kind of a lacy, fun thing to use. I've got one piece left cut of this that I had used for some of the other images. It's a piece of lace. I've got fabrics, different fabrics here. And I also want to include, let me grab these down here. We want some papers too, to kind of do it all together. Okay, so let's just start. Okay. So I am tearing, and I'm also going to be using this is a walnut stain, but anything that you want to use is perfectly fine. And let's just put a little something underneath so I don't mess up my board, or my mat, actually. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a little bit around there. I'm going to sort of smash it just a smidgen, and I'm just going to kind of layer. So, depending on, well, let's just start with the first one. Now, you can do one of two things. You can, let's do one of both. I'm using a corner rounder here, as you can see, to round these corners. You can do it without or with. It is up to you, my friends, however you want to do it. And then you can go ahead and go around the edge. I do kind of recommend that you do this part before you put them all together, just because it's easier. It doesn't really matter. It's just easier, I've found. Okay, so I'm going to scrunch up some of these. I'm not being too terribly careful, and I'm just kind of holding that. Okay, so let's get our glue. All right, so let's just kind of start. I'm doing a circle there, and I sort of want this to be scrunched a little bit. Okay, that's probably kind of difficult to see on that. And I'm kind of keeping there's one of my junk washcloths that I like to keep. Okay, this gives it dimension. It just makes it, let me show you the difference. See? This is really cool, and this is just okay. Okay, so, but you do want to be careful. Kind of got a little bit of glue on there, so I want to be careful about that. All right, then we're just going to do a little bit more layering. And which do I want first? See, this is just where we play. We just play, you guys. And I'm going to do a little more ripping on this. This particular fabric comes from old vintage napkins. You know, the fabric napkins that we all used to use, or some of us used, or none of us used. Okay. So I think I want that color next to, and I'm going to turn this just a tad bit. And actually, I like both scrunching and plain, but because we're kind of in that scrunching mode, let's go ahead and do a little more scrunching. That is an official term. It is an official word that we use in creating, in doing our art. Scrunching. Okay. And then we will add this as kind of our last little layer. You can do 3 or 4. Some of mine I did fewer, and some I did a little bit more. And I don't know, it's like, what's your favorite child? Hello. Depends. Is that cool? Look at that, you guys. And the dimension. Look at how that puffs out like that. Okay? Now, let me just pull that alongside. Now, here's one. This is one of the early ones that I did, and I stitched this. Some I stitched stars, and some I stitched around. And this is much flatter, but I do have the 1, 2, 3, 4 layers on it. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the difference. This I love, but I'm also going to stitch this because, you know, I'm a quilter. That's what I do. Don't beat me up. Be nice. But as you can see, these are just so easy. And I made it so that it could be just really fun if you like it. So that you don't have to take your images and make them smaller, you know, that kind of thing that we do a lot of times. I just made it super simple with my digital there. All you have to do is just cut them. And it's not even really fussy cutting. And I actually did, on these particular ones, I did them that if you have a straight ruler, straight edge, they'll cut straight. Oh, I know. Crazy, huh? Okay, let's do another one. Let's do something a little bit different. Let's do a little bit of ripping here. And I really do hope that you are having a great day. It's challenging, the world we're living in right now. There's so much anger. There's so much hurt. There's so much... Oh, you guys. I cry for those that hurt. I feel so inadequate. But I trust in my Savior and hope and pray that the time will come that all this craziness will get worked out and that we can have peace, not just in the United States, but around the world. I know there are many, many people suffering. Okay, so this one, because these are a little bit smaller, I'm thinking I might want to do, you know, add that. And, okay, so, but I really do like this next to the image. So, here we go. We're going to scrunch again. Get ready. And it just, if you're not used to scrunching, just practice. Practice makes perfect. Scrunch. 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 Just scrunch it, baby. And just maybe give it a little bit of extra hold down there for just a sec so your glue can get nice and tacked down. And if you don't like it so puffy, then glue it more. Glue all of this around, and that will flatten it a great deal. But like I said, I like the scrunch. You can match colors. Like, for instance, this is kind of cool with that little bit of rose there, and that matches. I like the color with that, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this. Okay. Yes, yes. That's a definite yes. So, I have a question for you. What are you doing this year? If you're taking a vacation, how are you doing that? How are you managing to do that with the current situation that we have in the world right now? How's that working for you? Are you able to do it? Hubby and I have kind of decided that, you know, the camping in our local state, we live in Arkansas, that's what we would do this year, to, you know, try and stay local. Now see, I'm gluing this down a little bit more because I want this to be up more, not quite so open. And then we've got to fit in another piece of fabric. Let's see, do I want to scrunch this way? Or do I want to do it flat? How do I want it? Do I want to change it for something a little bit bigger? See, this is, you know, this is the, oh darn, we just have to play. I'm so sorry, but you must play. Now this kind of image right here, you've got the square and then you've got kind of a bigger square. So that's kind of fun too. You can highlight that. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can sort of smush that around to a whole different angle. And I kind of think I like that better. I do. I really, really do. Let's see. What am I looking for? I maybe even want a little different. Well, I really like this that I bought. And I bought like, I think 6 of them. And I think for the 6 it was, I don't know, maybe $1 a piece or something like that. It was very reasonable. I found them in an antique shop several years ago, actually. And I think have only used up 1, maybe 2 total so far. So I'm getting a lot of great use out of these. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, yeah. Better, huh? So there again, I'm gonna scrunch. I'm gonna put enough glue down so that I can scrunch. And you can kind of adjust as you do this. If you feel you need to scrunch more or less. Okay. And like I said, you can always glue it down really well if you want to. Now, another thing that you can do, let me get into my drawer here and pull out. You can also make little tucks. You know, you can do the paper clip on the back and have that be a tuck spot. Shall we do one? Let's do just one. Okay. Alrighty, this is bandage tape, something like that. And I want, let's see, so this one I have to decide, is this going to be, do I want this to clip on the top of a journal? Do I want to clip this on the side going this way? Do I want to clip on the side going this way? So, or do I want to clip from the bottom going up? So you decide how you want to do that. And I think for this one, we will make this a side guy. So let me lay this down. This could be maybe a little bit messy. I don't know. I don't know if you can even see. What I'm trying to do is to wiggle this tape, kind of wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. Come on. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let's see. This was the side. Wiggle it down. Okay. Now, let's see if it will work. Bring out one of my iCAD cards. Ta-da! There you go. All right, guys. I didn't want to do too much. I just wanted to show you the very basic and then just turn you loose. Just make your clusters, and I will continue to do more off camera, and then I will continue. I think the next video I'll show you the clusters that I've created, and we will continue on, and I'll start working on one of my journal pages. All right, guys, have a fabulous day. Until next time, bye now.